are back and we have another grant. And this grant opportunity, it is a fund worth $22,500 in startup funds for your business. Grand prize, $10,000. First runner-up, $5,000. Second runner-up, $2,500. And then 5 other individuals will walk away with a startup grant for their business. Similar to our other grant opportunities, you gotta be concise. You will only have to answer 5 questions. Might seem like a lot, but you must answer each question in 100 words or less. And this opportunity is for both the US and Canada. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Ebony, a licensed attorney out of the state of Missouri, and on this channel, we focus on grants, legal tips, and setting a foundation for your business to get you to generational wealth because, yes, money is good, but I want your money to serve generation after generation after generation. The comments, y'all are asking, can you find a grant here or find a grant for this? Most of those grant opportunities for your startup is inside of the grant playlist. You must go into the small business grant playlist to find opportunities similar to some of our previous grants. There are several grants with no deadline, no business needed, and of course our global opportunities for individuals that might not be in the US to find a startup grant for your business. And also, there's a nonprofit grants playlist. I know folks are asking, but it's on the channel as well. And I know y'all would love for me to write your grant applications, and you can book that service on my website. However, the goal of this channel is to enable you to write your own grants and keep some of that money in your pocket. My books, which are buy one, get one free, will help you on that journey to submitting a successful grant application. The workbook, it has sample answers, it has quizzes, it has fill in the blanks, it has places where you can actually find grants as well. And the Patreon, I put links in there. I put cohorts, I put grants in there. I've even started putting scholarships. So if you're trying to find funding for yourself or your students or your children, there are scholarship opportunities in there. And if you're wondering, how do I determine what grants are going to go in the grant list video? It's from the comments. So if you would possibly like to see a grant for your city, state, and/or industry, you gotta leave a comment. I will then pull from the comments whichever one I see the most of to then put a grant opportunity that is aligned with your business in my next grant list video. Now, back to this grant. I've already mentioned there are going to be 5 questions, 100 words or less, that you will have to answer. But before we get into the questions, yes, yes, and yes again, this money is taxable. So when you walk away with this $10,000 or any of the other dollar amounts for this startup grants, please put a percentage aside for taxes. This is considered income to your business, and Uncle Sam is going to want his money. I will forever say 10% until I get my CPA, but please make sure that you speak to a licensed professional that can best determine a tax strategy for you to ensure that when you get ready to pay those taxes, the money is there and your business is stabilized and you are not prevented from future startup grants or future loans if that is something you're interested in. The first question you will have to answer is, what indicators do you have that your product or service is in demand? They are trying to make sure, 1, that you've done some type of market research, and 2, that you are watching the data. Because if you have 2 different products and one is just blowing up and maybe 1 or 2 people have purchased the other one, what are you doing and why haven't you pivoted to figure out why individuals aren't purchasing? The second question is, what opportunities do you see for growth? This is a grantor trying to see if you are recognizing those blind spots in your business, because you could have a successful business but there are opportunities for growth that you might be overlooking. And the grantor wants to make sure that you're not doing that. The next question is, what milestones have you successfully met? They want to see that you're goal oriented. They want to make sure that you are setting benchmarks for your business to ensure that you are focused on growing, scaling, and possibly selling your business. The next question is, what is your company's biggest operational challenge? And what have you done to mitigate it? Again, they're looking for someone that is not repeating the same error over and over again without recognizing that you need to pivot, because the grantor gives you this $10,000 startup grant and you blow the money on something that already hasn't been working. They want to make sure that you are going to use the funds responsibly. And the final question, you knew one of these was going to be in here, one of our, standard questions. How would you use the grant money, but they added to grow your business? Not just how you're going to use the money. They want your budget, yes, but then they want you to explain to them, and remember, 100 words or less, how will whatever you're going to do with this money assist you in growing your business? So this grantor is looking for someone that is a strategist and not just someone that's going to say, oh, I'm going to hire someone, or I'm going to go to a workshop, or I'm going to purchase some software. No, do all those things if it's going to help your business. But now you must also say specifically, how will that grow your business? So y'all already know. Leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, city, state, and/or industry, so I can possibly find a grant opportunity that is aligned with your business. Now, with all of that, let's look at this grant. All right, y'all. This grant opportunity is sponsored by the Mama Ladder International, and this is their High Five Grant for Mom. Don't run off. 50% of the business must be owned by a mother, and it does not have to be you birthed the child. You can be a stepmom, you can be a foster mom. Anyone that identifies as a mother is potentially eligible to walk away with this startup grant. What I've said in similar videos, scroll the website, because I want you all to see what I think is most important, the story behind the grant. When grantors are reading any application, honestly, I am sure, human nature, they're looking for someone that speaks to their why. So make sure if this information is ever listed on any website, you read it, you figure out how that is aligned with your business, and then you pepper that into your application. And there's more. They have finalists from 2018 to 2023. I am going to always recommend that you see who they have funded in the past, because that gives you additional intel on what is important to the grantor when they are deciding to hand out these startup grants. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is a $10,000 startup business grant for small business owners, on top of the fact that there is $5,000, $1,000, $2,500. The one thing, it is on the website, this grant does have an application fee. Early registration is $30, late registration is $50. This is always going to be a business decision for yourself. You're going to have to decide, is a $10,000 small business grant or a $5,000 small business grant worth the investment of either $50 or $30? And once you make that decision, you're going to click to apply. Then you're going to come back here, leave me that comment, let me know that you completed a successful grant application, and hopefully, which I already know, you're going to come back and tell me that you have walked away with a $10,000 startup grant for your small business. But of course, check out the ebook, check out the workbook, check out the Patreon, check out the small business grant playlist. I cannot stress enough the amount of startup grant opportunities that is in there, as well as the nonprofit grant playlist as well. Of course, I am always grateful. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me virtually. I want to thank you for supporting the channel and wherever you are in the world. I hope that you are having a beautiful day, and I will see y'all next time.